Hello everyone, and in this video we're going to be looking at the HackTheBox machine called Aragog. I've already done an initial scan on the IP address 10.10.10.78. You can see we've got an FTP port open on 21, an FTP service, an SSH service running on port 22, and also HTTP Apache server running on port 80. So we can have a quick look at the Apache server. 10.10.10.78. So all we have is just an Apache default page, and then we have the SSH on port 22, and also we have this anonymous login on port 21. So we can have a quick look at that one. Okay, so we do FTP 10.10.10.78, and we can log in with anonymous, no password, and logged in successful. So dir shows we've got this text.txt. So what I'll do is let me exit this and cd atb cd aragog. I'll repeat that again. Okay, so FTP there, anonymous. Okay, so dir got this file called test.txt. So we can try to get that file. Okay, successful. Exit and list. So that's the file. Let's have a look at the content of this file. Test.txt. We've got this sort of an HTML file. So what I did on this box is to run deb against the HTTP Apache box or Apache service. So we do deb HTTP 10.10.10.78. And before we run this, we could just have a look at deb to see the parameters we could use. So extensions. Okay, so we could do deb HTTP URL 10.10.10.78, and I provided the extension to be .php, and I tried also .html, and let that go on for a while. And at some point, I'm just going to stop this. We recovered an extension with hosts.php. We're able to see this. So looking at this shows a web page. So we could try to have a look at the source. There's nothing really interesting going on. But the thing about this is the file that we actually grabbed, this text.txt, it looks much more like an HTML page. So I tried to combine this with that, or to use this against the host PHP to see what will happen. So we're just going to do this using burp. Okay, start a burp suite. Okay, go to proxy, intercept is on, and try to refresh this page. So we get the connection there. Send this to repeater, intercept off, repeater, and go. And we can see the same result. So the next thing I did was to copy this HTML code, go on to burp, and include it here. See what happens. Click on go, and you can see it's changed to say there are 62 possible hosts for this. So looking at this, it appears this page might be vulnerable to an XXC entity vulnerability. So I'm just going to go back to burp here and just turn this off. I'll turn off the proxy. And we can do a quick search on XXC REC. And there was a very interesting blog I found here. To explain how from XML to REC. So reading through this blog, we can actually be able to read files or read files on the machine. So I'm just going to copy this part of the code and add it here. Or one thing you could do is also to Google the top OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities on web applications. So if we send this here, let's see what happens. We don't get a response, but what we can do here is, so we have the entity exe. You could just try to change the contents of this to and XXE colon there, and there we go. We're able to read the etc password file. So on here we can see we've got a user called Cliff. We also got a user called Florian, and they've got a home directory, home Florian, and also home Cliff. So we can try to see if we could read any other interesting files. So I'll go in here and do home Cliff. What I did was home Florian, and see if we could retrieve any sort of SSH private keys, and then ID underscore RSA. Oops, what happened there? Go. And there we go. We're able to retrieve the RSA key to Florian. So copy that and clear this, and then we could do nano Florian.key. Paste this in. Now remember, we found in our initial scan, we found port 22 open. So we can try SSHing in with this key. So first thing to see if this SSH key has got a password, we can use SSH to John. Let me just do Florian.key. And it says Florian key has no password, so we could just SSH in with the key. Florian.key Florian at 10.10.10.78. Oh, spelled that badly. Then it's an unprotected file key, so we need to change the permissions of the key. So we give strmode 600 Florian.key. And then try to log in again. There we go. We're in the box. So list, you can see the user flag. Okay, so wc user.txt. Got my command wrong there. wc. Okay, so we can see the characters of the user flag. So pwd, we can see we're in home Florian. So I could go backwards, ls. So we've got Cliff and also we've got Florian. So we cd into Cliff, permission denied. Okay, so let's go back into Florian. and long list. So we've got the bash history here, we've got an SQL history as well. So the next thing I did here was to try to enumerate this box using lean enum sh. So cd tools, file, lean enum.sh. Yep, got lean enum there. So I'll try to start my, first of all, let me grab my config on 0.38, my IP address. So start python-m simple http server 80. Try to grab that file. So clear. So let's do cd tmp. Try to do wget. See, we got wget installed. Which wget? Yeah. So wget http IP address my box slash lean enum sh. Got it. List. Make it executable. And then just run it. Okay, so that's completed. And if we have a quick look, I see there are a lot of files we've got read, write, and execute permission, but this files actually belong to Cliff. So you can see here the distribution of this box is Ubuntu 16.04, and you can see the users. Most interestingly is this folder where we've got read and write permissions, and this happens to be in a directory, in this directory here. Okay, so cd into this directory list. So this appears to be a WordPress kind of a page. It's WP WordPress. So we can list this and list, long list. You can see Cliff is actually the owner of this folder, but everyone has got permissions to read, write, and execute. And also we've got a folder here called backup, but we don't have permissions to that. So we try to cd into this. We haven't got permissions. Access is denied. So let's see if we can access this dev_wiki from here. Dev_wiki. You can see here saying looking up Aragog. So what I did here was to go into nano/etc/hosts and try to resolve the IP address. So we have 10.10.10.78 and then Aragog. Okay, so let's try refreshing this now. And you see we've got a blog post. So the clue here was when I go into this blog post, click on blogs, we'll see a message here from Cliff to Florian saying, hi, thought you could use a wiki. Feel free to log in and have a poke around. But as I'm messing around with a lot of changes, I'll probably be restoring the sites from backup fairly frequently. I'll be logging in regularly and will email the wider team when I need some more testers. So this is actually a clue. I'll be logging in regularly. So from the settings, so let's go back into dev_wiki. And then if you list this, we can actually see the config file. So let's copy the config file or cut the config file. Probably we might see some credentials. We can see the database password, username and password. So we've got database user root, and then we've got a password for this. So I'm just going to copy this out. So still got our shell, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm just going to clear this. And nano creds. Put this in. So if this is actually a root password, we can do a prevesc. So let's try logging into the SQL database. Clear. So we got MySQL -root, then the password P, prompts for a password. This password. So we got this, so we can do show databases, use WP_wiki. And then show tables and select all from WP_users. You can see we've got an administrative password. I tried cracking this password, but there was no lock. So this appeared to be a kind of a rabbit hole for anyone trying to do this. So another way we could try to escalate privileges is to run this, I think, sh command from right. Is it sh command unknown. I think is the other way around. Sh, think. Yeah, we've got a shell ID, but we're still Florian. So if this root, the SQL username and password is actually was actually owned by root, if we tried this, we could try to escalate privilege. But in this instance, that didn't work. So I'm just going to exit the shell, SQL shell, go back as Florian, and cd ... So from the blog post saying I'll be logging in regularly, after enough enumeration, so if I do a long list $, we can see today is July 7th, and we can see dev wiki is the date is today's date, which is quite weird. So this is why I'm saying that there's a process actually creating this folder probably every 5 minutes. And because Cliff is saying he's logging in every minute, there's a probability that he might be using the his credentials, and if we're able to steal those credentials, we might be able to use those credentials to log in. I tried sudo.l and it was asking for a password, and since we don't know the password to Florian, there's no success. So it just shows that Florian has sudo privileges, but we don't have his password. So what I did was to cd into dev_wiki list and try to see how we can steal the password. So if we go over here, we go to dev.wiki login.php or wp login php. We get the so we can try administrator, password, try to log in, no lock. So after enough search, I did a search to PHP script to log the raw data of post. So I found this to be very helpful. So using this PHP script, we might be able to steal the credentials when Cliff is trying to log in. So I just clear screen, ls cd cd dev_wiki list, and then the login, try to remove this wp-login.php. Okay, and then we create another one, wp-login.php. Just paste this code inside, and what this is going to do is it's going to steal the contents of the post request and save it to a file called post.log. So do a list now. You can see this is our new login page, and we just wasted some few minutes to see if Cliff is going to log in. So I keep doing refreshing the page, clear, and at some point we should get the post.log file. Just need to wait a few minutes. So let's see, date. So the time right now is 6:46. List. And there we go, we got post.log. So we can cat this file, cat post.log. And then we've seen the administrator trying to log into the page. So there we go. Copy this password, su root, that's our password, paste, and we're root. Okay, list. So cd root, ls, we can find this is the root flag. So we can do wc.c roots.txt. See 33 characters of the MD5 hash. And if we try to go into just to see what exactly was running the script, so if we go into cd home Cliff, you can actually see a Python script being used to log in remotely as Cliff. And you can see here using the username and password to log in, and that's what we captured using that PHP script. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I actually enjoyed the privilege escalation because I haven't come across this, but it was worth the effort and worth the research. So thanks very much for watching.